Okay, so I'm just waiting. How you doing? So everybody saw that picture this morning. Pink, red, and gold. Crazy, man. Even off the house it was reflecting off the windows. Oh, just shut down. Anyways, that's the craziest picture I've ever seen. Even off the sides of the building, it's reflecting red. Okay, so that's the coming. That's a sign. I talked about it this morning. It's one of the biggest signs. I have to we I'm in Matthew in the Bible. Okay, so Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the most important uh in the Bible, okay? Well, including Revelations and Genesis, but to get to know Jesus, which you have to be his buddy, his good buddy, like brothers. You have to read the Gospels, okay? The Gospels is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. How's it going today, Junior? I have a lot more people that are trapped on my previous channel, and they're not subscribing to this one like I asked them to. But anyways, uh, what do you do? I guess they still can't use that channel. Okay, so whatever I did the last time, they pretty much erased the channel, and the guy can't put it on. Let's talk about the news here. Space weather and Mars, whatever. That's just BS. Well, satellites detect night skies on Earth under the cover of darkness. So they get people talk about the 3 days of darkness. No, it's not 3 days of darkness. That's a Catholic theory. It's going to be a lot more. Yeah, and then if you could send it. You could put it on. Anyways, I want to teach you the book of Enoch because it's imperative and it's very interesting. And I've got to do laundry and cook supper on Mondays. That's what I do. Okay, my wife doesn't do it, and so I'm going to be running back and forth. Okay, so let's do this. I'm just going to take us to the book of Enoch. Okay, I have one I'm listening to now. All right, this book is amazing. This book explains everything that the Bible does, including the coming of Jesus. Okay, and this was 1700 years before Jesus. Jesus was actually made by God. Oh, that's okay if you have questions. I don't mind, buddy. But this Enoch book, man.
On the day of the elect one. For none shall be angels have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish through all the secret things that the watchers have disclosed and taught their sons. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin.
Okay, I'm going to stop it for a second. Azazel. He is Satan. Okay, the real name of Satan is Azazel, and there's a whole bunch of names, and he'll name them off. Junior is new, and okay, just I've got to do this because I'm starving. I did not get to eat today, so we'll go back to that. I'm just gonna quickly order something here because I'm not cooking. It's bad enough that I'm doing. I should have a free delivery. Okay, so give me a second. This takes me a second to order. And because I'm super hungry, I'm going to order the large one. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just got to. There's going to be a second, and then we're going to listen to the book of Enoch. Enoch explains in more detail what the stars are. They're all named. All stars are named. So I don't suggest anybody even pick up anything about NASA because it's all a straight lie. NASA means never a straight answer, okay? And people don't get that, and they still teach the old teachings. When they, Enoch walked with God. Enoch was really early in the days after Adam and Eve. Enoch is a grandchild, right? So, and then they try to explain away. Well, they listen to NASA. NASA said this and NASA said that. Can I have some too? I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, I'm having a donair. So anybody I get away from people that teach wrong teachings and to fall and to listen to what the scientists are saying and NASA's saying and government's saying and news is saying and anything that's out of the Bibles, which Enoch is one of the Bibles, okay? So I'm just about done here. And we're rolling back. Oh man, how did this do this? I just added. Okay, I'm just finishing up here. Order's on the way. Okay, processing payment. Can you see my, yeah? Yes, I can. Payment failed? Oh, this is a joke, man. Hold on, guys. It's got to throw a kink into me. Everything does lately. Oh, one thing, it's another. Everything is throwing a kick into me today. No matter what I do, it just seems to be that way, right? So, anyways, that's done. It's telling me my order isn't being placed, and I just put that card in there, and it worked just fine, and I just got paid. So let's see. 6-1. No, that's not the one. Okay. It's not doing it. Okay. So I believe in Enoch because Enoch walked with God. Okay. He can't be lying. When you walk with God, you're not lying. Okay. So these people go by, there's another binary system, there's these other planets, and baloney. I don't subscribe to that. Where it does say that the earth is straight and on 4 pillars and everything moves around with us. So I don't subscribe to what people say anymore because Enoch just straight out and tells us 861. Okay, this should be it. Okay, so and even there's not one guy that I've ever heard on there that explains things really the way they are. The Bible doesn't explain these things like Enoch does. Okay, so why aren't people explaining things the proper way? Oh, everything goes around the sun. No, it goes through portholes and heats us. Okay, so my favorite guy that I love to listen to, he doesn't believe in that. So I'm setting it straight, Mike. Okay, it doesn't work like that, right? Everything goes around us. We don't move. We're round side in way, invertedly round, with the dome over top of us. And that's exactly how it talks. And I just don't get it why even the most best ones don't explain. Okay, well, let's go to Enoch.
Gabriel, said the Lord, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication and the children of the watchers from amongst men, and cause them to go forth. Send them one against the other, that they may destroy each other in battle. For length of days shall they not have. And no request that their fathers make of thee shall be granted unto them on their behalf, for they hope to live an eternal life, and that each one of them will live 500 years. And the Lord said unto Michael, Go, find Simjaza and his associates who have united themselves with women so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one.
Okay, so if there's three heavens, is there planets everywhere up there? Disturbing the three heavens? The stars are named. He's going to give us the name of the stars. So how could there be all these planets floating around in space? Talks about three heavens. You can't be bugging around in God's heaven. And in the middle one, you can't be bugging around. Everything was planted in our firmament, above our firmament, okay? And the sun and the moon go around us. It's explained in Enoch, the book before the Bible.
Another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones. Bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the day of judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations, and destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the watchers, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy wrong from the face of the earth.
Okay, so he's talking about destroy people with a reprobate mind. You can't serve two gods. It's Jesus or Satan. That's it. There's no fence. Satan owns the fence. You can't be hanging out on it because you're going to get burnt. Wood fences get burnt and fall down. You're not going to follow the way of God when it's too late. They're using a thermometer right now. I saw a thing on Facebook where it's actually frying your pineal gland. And I won't touch that thermometer. And if they ever try to put that on my head, I'll quit my job. God will support me.
Earth, and let every evil work come to an end, and let the plant of righteousness and truth appear, and it shall prove a blessing. The works of righteousness and truth shall be planted in truth and joy forevermore. And then shall all the righteous escape, and shall live till they beget thousands of children, and all the days of their youth and their old age shall be completed in peace. And then shall the whole earth be filled in righteousness, and shall all be planted with trees, and be full of blessing, and all desirable trees shall be planted on it, and they shall plant vines on it, and the vine which they plant thereon shall yield wine in abundance. And as for all the seed which is sown thereon, each measure of it shall bear 1,000, and each measure of olive shall yield 10 presses of oil. And cleanse thou the earth from all oppression, and from all unrighteousness, and from all godlessness, and all uncleanness that is wrought upon the earth, destroy from off the earth. And all the children of men shall become righteous, and all
Yeah, you can always put that in the bottom link below, and then I can download it and put it on. God's Letter on YouTube. You'll love it. Yeah, I love everything to do with God. Okay, so now I'm just not getting it. Nobody explains Enoch. No church, no online church ever explains Enoch. It's a very important book. It helps put the Bible together. And the Bible mentions these things on the earth too. So God thrust his hand into the earth and it went like a fishbowl. Okay, so we're kind of like a fishbowl. All right, and then he put a firmament on top. Firm means stable, means firm. Firmament. And I've heard pastors go firmament. It's not fern. It's firmament, means it's firm. And we're not moving through space, but now we've been kicked off. Enoch explains how we're kicked off the pillars and now we're moving into unknown areas that we've ever been in, okay? So I hate it when the most biblical scholars, and especially the one I love, starts agreeing with the stuff that's in space that they've told us a lie about. Okay? It's very, very annoying. You got to come out with the truth. So this is what we're coming out to. It's not a flat earth. It's like there you go. It's like a saucer. But it's encaved saucer, okay? It's not totally flat and it's not round, okay? All the pictures of space are fake, all right? So people got to know that. And this book, Enoch, explains all that. And people need to listen to it. This guy walked with God. So God told him everything. And the angels told him everything. Okay, so why would he lie? I broke my head 5 times. How I am alive. Because God kept you alive for a certain reason. Everybody's alive for a reason, and people don't get that either. They think they're alive to just everything's going to go black and you're not going to see anymore and it's over for you when you're done. So if that's the way you think, why don't you just grab a gun and shoot yourself? You got nothing to live for. Okay? Why are you alive? Because God's going to use you for a purpose. This is the time. You're an end time guy now. You know of the end times that I talk about and that I show you. I'm going to have a day on my orbs. A picture of all my orbs are going to go back on because they haven't erased this channel or bothered this channel. That's why I'm here. Okay, so let's keep listening. I got something coming.
Nation shall
Some
offer
food.
adoration and praise me, and all shall worship me. And the earth shall be cleansed from all defilement, and from all sin, and from all punishment, and from all torment. And I will never again send.
Okay, so the book of Enoch explains everything like the Bible, and not exactly the same, but it does. So your name's Tony. Doesn't matter. I don't care about that, right? So it don't matter what your name is because God's going to give you a new name when you go to heaven.
Upon it from generation to generation forever. And in those days I will open the store chambers of blessing which are in the heaven, so as to send them down upon the earth over the work and labor of the children of men. And truth and peace shall be associated together throughout all the days of the world, and throughout all the generations of men. Into the fragment of Noah. Book of Enoch. Before these things Enoch was hidden, and no one of the children of men knew where he was hidden, and where he abode, and what had become of him. And his activities had to do with the watchers, and his days were with the holy ones. And I, Enoch, was blessing the Lord of majesty and the King of the ages. And lo, the watchers called me, Enoch the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go declare to the watchers of heaven who have left the high heaven, the holy eternal place, and have... Okay, so he's talking about the angels that left their estate. They left heaven to go against God and come down here and defile the women that were here, all right? And that's what they did. So we might be part of the defilement, whether we came from
Yes, fallen angels. Whether we came from Cain or we came from Seth, because Abel wasn't able to have kids, and Seth means in a replacement of Abel who was killed. So Satan had a way jump on God's children. Okay, so there we don't know who God's children is until he comes, but we have to stand in his name and praise him, and maybe he'll make you that. Now I don't know that answer. Okay, God knows the answer of who is going to become full, whole, and going to be of heaven, and who is going to be of hell. We don't know that yet. Like far as I know, I could go to hell, right? And I don't know that. See, people don't. Anyways, I wanted to teach Matthew, which I should have been, but this Enoch, I'm going to go a little bit.
Defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives. Ye have wrought great destruction on the earth, and ye shall have no peace nor forgiveness of sin. And inasmuch as they delight themselves in their children, the murder of their beloved ones shall they see, and over the destruction of their children shall they lament.
So they mixed our seeds, okay? So no one is of pure God. We've been mixed with Cain's stuff. They slept with each other, that God told them do not mix races, and that's what they did. So there's not one person here on this earth right now that is pure. It's impossible right now. It's too far in the game. There's no more pure people on this earth. Not one is sinless. We all die with something, and not when Jesus comes back, he will take that out of us.
And shall make supplication unto eternity, but mercy and peace shall ye not attain. And Enoch went and said, Azazel, thou shalt have no peace. A severe sentence has gone forth against
Azazel. He calls him Azazel. I call him Azazel. Now listen, this is Satan. Azazel is Satan. Not supposed to. We're not supposed to mix our race. Not to say that black people are bad or white people are bad. We're actually not supposed to mix our races, but it doesn't matter now. That's way back. So it doesn't matter. You can mix our races now, but we weren't supposed to back then mix our races with other races. Adam's race, Seth's kids, and all of his grandkids weren't supposed to mix with other people, and they did that. No, there's lots of them that came to God. They're not bad. Okay. So, yeah, they're not bad, man. So don't, get that.
Thee to put thee in bonds, and thou shalt not have toleration, nor request granted to thee.
Okay, so I'm going to explain something. Esau and Jacob came out. God hated Esau before he even came out of the belly, because he knew he was what he was being born of. And he knew him in his previous life when we were here as spiritual and fell from the heavens first. And then God made Adam and Eve, and then they were going to choose to fall, and he knew that it all had to be done. Okay? So we're a mixed race. There's not one pure on this earth.
Righteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the works of godlessness and unrighteousness and sin which thou hast shown to men. Then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid, and fear and...
Okay, so the fallen angels got afraid. They got scared. Okay, this is before the Bible. Okay, so these people were here already of spirit, and they were having children. Okay, already. Anyways, I it's kind of like that. But anyways, they fell, and they were bawling out to God to be saved, and God said no to them because they were of light. My fake friends be racist to their own race. They say, look at the black African. Well, we're not to do that, right? That's judging, right?
trembling seized them, and they besought me to draw up a petition for them that they might find forgiveness.
So they're drawing a petition to God that they get forgiveness. But they were of the holy light. They knew all the truth and all the light. And if you fall from there, you can't be saved. And the fallen angels could not be saved. And they cried and they loved they loved their people and they loved their children. But God said, no, because you are of the fallen. Once you've fallen out of the total light, it's impossible. Once you've seen the total light, and there's not one person on earth that's alive that has got the Holy Spirit fully encompassed in them, or else if they sinned, they wouldn't make it. Okay? So I don't have it yet, and he's preparing us for that. I got my suppers almost here.
And to read their petition in the presence of the Lord of heaven. For from thenceforward they could not speak with him, nor lift up their eyes to heaven for shame of their sins for which they had been condemned. Then I wrote out their petition, and the prayer in regard to their spirits, and their deeds individually, and in regard to their requests, that they should have forgiveness and length. And I went off and sat down at the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, to the south of the west of Hermon. And I read their petition till I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell down upon me. And I saw visions of chastisement, and a voice came bidding me to tell it to the sons of heaven, and reprimand them. And when I awaked, I came unto them, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping in Abelsgel, which is between Lebanon and Seneser, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep. And I began to speak the words of righteousness, and to reprimand the heavenly watchers. The book of the words of righteousness, and of the reprimand of the eternal watchers, in accordance with the command of the Holy Great One in that vision.
My supper's here.
I saw in my sleep what I will now say with the tongue of flesh, and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to men to converse therewith, and understand with the heart. As he has created and given to man the power of understanding the word of wisdom, so hath he created me also, and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of heaven. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appeared thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yea, your petition will not be granted unto you, and from henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity. And in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world. And that previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and you shall have no pleasure in them, but they shall fall before you by the sword. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. And the vision was shown to me thus. Behold, in the vision clouds invited me, and a mist summoned me, and the course of the stars and the lightning sped and hastened me, and the winds in the vision caused me to fly and lifted me upward, and bore me into heaven. And I went in till I drew nigh to a wall which is built of crystals and surrounded by tongues of fire. And it began to affright me. And I went into the tongues of fire, and drew near to a large house which was built of crystals. And the walls of the house were like a tessellated floor made of crystals, and its groundwork was of crystal, and its ceiling was like the path of the stars and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim, and their heaven was clear as water. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. And I entered into that house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice, and there were no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling gat hold upon me. And as I quaked and trembled, I fell upon my face, and I beheld a vision. And lo, there was a second house, greater than the former, and the entire portal stood open before me, and it was built of flames of fire. And in every respect it so excelled in splendor and magnificence and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floor was of fire, and above it were lightnings in the path of the stars, and its ceiling was also a flaming fire. And I looked and saw therein a lofty throne, and its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. And there was the vision of cherubim, and from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. And the great glory sat thereon, and his raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. None of the angels could enter, and could behold his face by reason of the magnificence and glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw nigh him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, yet he needed no counselor. And the most holy ones were nigh to him, and did not leave by night, nor depart from him. And until then I had been prostrate on my face, trembling, and the Lord called me with his own mouth, and said to me, Come hither, Enoch, and hear my word. And one of the holy ones came to me and waked me, and he made me rise up and approach the door, and I bowed my face downwards. And he answered and said to me, and I heard his voice, Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice. And go, say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them. You should intercede for men, and not men for you. Wherefore have you left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and have lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken to yourselves wives, and done...
Okay, so he's talking about what I just said to you. They were in the high of the heaven. They knew everything. They knew it all. They had it all. They were given everything, and they turned on them. So they were of full light, and they turned on God. So you can't turn on God after you've seen the full light of him and the truth of him. You can't turn on him. Now, there's teachers that say, well, when you come to Jesus, you can't sin, but you do have to sin, because you, by your transgressions, will be purged. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of things I can just nail on pastors that have been doing it 50 years, and they still don't understand some of the things that are going on. And I'm not here to put anyone down. I'm just saying some of them, okay? And this is going to run out.
Like the children of earth, and begotten giants as your sons. And though you are holy, spiritual, living the eternal life, you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh. And as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also do who die and perish. Therefore have I given them wives also, that they might impregnate them and beget children by them, that thus nothing might be wanting to them on earth. But you were formerly spiritual, living the eternal life, and immortal for all generations of the world. And therefore I have not appointed wives for you. As for the spiritual ones of heaven, in heaven is their dwelling. And now the giants who are produced from the spirits and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits.
Okay, so the watchers were the bad ones, okay? And he's just explaining everything I told you. They were in perfect full light, and they turned on God. They knew everything. We don't yet, and you'll never get to know it. You're not here long enough to know everything about the Bible. It's not okay. It'll happen where you do it. Don't give yourself an excuse to do it. Try not to do it by all means. But there'll be times that you can't stop it in your head. You just can't stop it, okay? So then he'll chasten you, and you'll feel super guilty for like days, months, even years. And for the rest of your life, you'll be ashamed of the sin you did, including when you were a Christian. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you've got the whole light and you've been holy baptized in the Holy Spirit yet. Because if God was to put the Holy Spirit in you, and you went and sinned once, you would fall just like them. They had the holiness, they had all one spirit, and it was holy, and they turned on God.
Shall they be called? As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They take no food.
Okay. So he's telling you, if you have these traits, maybe you better check yourself out. If you have God's traits, you better find Jesus in a hurry, as he's coming back.
Nevertheless, hunger and thirst, and cause offenses, and these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the souls of whose flesh the spirits, having gone forth, shall destroy without incurring judgment. Thus shall they destroy until the day of the consummation, the great judgment in which the age shall be consummated, over the watchers and the godless, yea, shall be wholly consummated. And now as to the watchers who have sent thee to intercede for them, who had been aforetime in heaven, say to them, you have been in heaven, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you, and you worthless ones, and these in your hardness of hearts you have made known to the women, and through these mysteries women and men work much evil on earth. Say to them therefore, you have no peace. And they took and brought me to a place in which those who were there were like flaming fire. And when they wished, they appeared as men. And they brought me to a place of darkness, and to a mountain, the point of whose summit reached to heaven. And I saw the places of the luminaries, and the treasuries of the stars, and of the thunder, and in the uttermost depths, where were a fiery bow, and arrows, and their quiver, and a fiery sword, and all the lightnings. And they took me to the living waters, and to the fire of the west, which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to a river of fire, in which the fire flows like water, and discharges itself into a great sea towards the west. And
that's called the Great Lake of Fire. There's no hell yet. Hell is Sheol, okay? Or Tyrus. Hell comes at the end, when it enlarges itself, which I believe it's enlarging itself and it's becoming a thing now.
Saw the great rivers, and came to the great river, and to the great darkness, and went to the place where no flesh walks. I saw the mountains of the darkness of winter, and the place whence all the waters of the deep flow. I saw the mouths of all the rivers, and of the earth, and the mouth of the deep. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he has furnished them with the whole creation, and the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the earth, and the firmament of heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven, and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of heaven. I saw the winds of heaven, which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and all the stars to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of heaven above. And I proceeded and saw a place which burns day and night, where there are 7 mountains of magnificent stones, 3 towards the east, and 3 towards the south. And as for those towards the east, one was of a colored stone, and one of a pearl, and one of a jacinth, and those towards the south of red stone. But the middle one reached to heaven like the throne of God, of alabaster, and the summit of the throne was of sapphire, and I saw a flaming fire. And beyond these mountains is a region at the end of the great earth, There the heavens were completed, and I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure alike towards the height and towards the depth. And beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it, and there was no water upon it, and no birds. But it was a waste and horrible place. I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains. And to me, when
Hi,
inquired
Jim.
regarding them, the angel said, "This place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And he was wroth with them, and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated, even for 10,000 years." And Uriel said to me, "Here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. Here shall they stand till the day of the great judgment, in which..."
Okay, so that anybody doing any sacrifices right now, which Israel's doing them, they're sacrificing to demons. The last sacrifice was this guy, Jesus. So they're doing things because they don't believe in this guy. And hey, they are the people of God. They will come to him. They do have a free trip to heaven. Okay, and not all of them are Israelites. Some of them say they are, but they're the synagogue of Satan. That's how they run right now. People don't realize it. There'll be a few that won't make it because of that, eh?
"They shall be judged till they are made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. And I, Enoch, alone saw the vision, and the end of all things, and no man shall see as I have seen. And these are the names of the holy angels who watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels, who is over the world and over Tartarus. Raphael, one of the holy angels."
Get it? Raphael, Donatello, Leonardo. The 4 Ninja Turtles. They named them after angels, man.
"Who is over the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the holy angels, who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels, to wit, he that is set over the best part of mankind and over chaos. Sarakiel, one of the holy angels, who was set over the spirits, who sin in the spirit. Gabriel, one of the holy angels, who was over paradise and the serpents and the cherubim. Remiel, one of the holy angels, whom God set over those who rise. And I proceeded to where things were chaotic, and I saw there something horrible. I saw neither a heaven above nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars.
Okay, so you heard of a firmly found earth. That means it's firm and not moving. Everything's taught wrong, and even the pastors and even the guy I love the most doesn't teach space right. Then he loves Enoch, but yet he doesn't teach the right teaching to Enoch. Now, I don't know why, because it doesn't really, I do know why, because it doesn't really affect your salvation. Salvation means save. You being saved, okay?
Bound together in it, like great mountains and burning with fire. Then I said, "For what sin are they bound? And on what account have they been cast in hither?" Then said Uriel, one of the holy angels, who was with me, and was chief over them, and said, "Enoch, why dost thou ask? And why art thou eager for the truth? These are the number of the stars of heaven, which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and are bound."
You just hear that?
10,000 years.
The number of the stars that transgressed, sinned. So how can a star sin? He names them, they look like stars and they have brightness of stars, but they have names. So I could, this guy's Planet X79, all that stuff is baloney. Get it out of your head. No such thing as Planet X, Planet 9. Sorry to tell anybody. And these pastors are teaching that. But yet, have they studied Enoch? Enoch is very important to understand. It tells you everything.
The time entailed by their sins are consummated, and from thence I went to another place, which was still more horrible than the former, and I saw a horrible thing, a great fire there which burnt and blazed, and the place was cleft as far as the abyss, being full of great descending columns of fire. Neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor could I conjecture. Then I said, how fearful is the place, and how terrible to look upon. Then Uriel answered me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, Enoch, why hast thou such fear and affright? And I answered, because of this fearful place, and because of the spectacle of the pain. And he said unto me, this place is the prison of the angels, and here they will be imprisoned forever. And thence I went to another place, and the mountain of hard rock, and there was in it 4 hollow places, deep and wide and very smooth. How smooth are the hollow places, and deep and dark to look at! Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, these hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein, yea, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here. And these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, and till their appointed period, till the period appointed, till the great judgment comes upon them. I saw the spirit of a dead man making suit, and his voice went forth to heaven and made suit. And I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and I said unto him, this spirit which maketh suit, whose is it? Whose voice goeth forth and maketh suit to heaven? And he answered me, saying, this is the spirit which went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew, and he makes his suit again.
There, you see, the spirit of Abel right now is now a holy angel. Okay?
Against him till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth,
and
his
he's
seed
crying
is
out.
annihilated from amongst.
He gets to do a lot of it, okay? Because he got killed by his brother. He was a martyr for God.
Seed of men. And then I asked regarding it, and regarding all the hollow places, why is one separated from the other? And he answered me and said unto me, these 3 have been made that the spirits of the dead might be separated, and such a division has been made for the spirits of the righteous, in which there is a bright spring of water. And such has been made for the sinners when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their lifetime. Here their spirit shall be set apart in this great pain until the great day of judgment and punishment and torment of those who curse.
Okay, so that's the 3 heavens. There's the heaven above, which is Satan's heaven, and he rules the earth. The whole world lies in the hand of the wicked one. The second heaven is a gulf, and there's the good ones that it's paradise. It's like paradise there. It's beautiful for them. For them there. The other side are for the evil ones, and they're getting great torment right now until the day that everybody gets judged. The dead rises with everybody rises. It's like all these thousands of years ain't going to matter when you die, because they're only going to be dead for like a few days. People thousands of years ago, and you're going to know who they are in heaven. They already know them, but God hasn't opened that up in you yet.
Ever, and retribution for their spirits. There he shall bind them forever, and such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their suit, who make discourses concerning their destruction, when they were slain in the days of the sinners. Such has been made for the spirits of men who were not righteous, but sinners, who were complete in transgression, and of the transgressors they shall be companions, but their spirit shall.
Okay, so the transgressor who completely transgresses. Okay? It's not saying, oh, you have problems with one and you sin and you can't come back. You're not completely a transgressor. You're abiding by God's laws in many things. But an unbeliever, you might as well be a murderer.
Not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from thence. Then I blessed the Lord of glory and said, Blessed be my Lord, the Lord of righteousness, who ruleth forever. From thence I went to another place, to the west of the ends of the earth, and I saw a burning fire which ran without resting, and paused not from its course day or night, but ran regularly. And I asked, saying, What is this which rests not? Then Raguel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered me, and said unto me, This course of fire, which thou hast seen, is the fire in the west, which persecutes all the luminaries of heaven. And from thence I went to another place of the earth, and he showed me a mountain range of fire, which burnt day and night. And I went beyond it and saw 7 magnificent mountains, all differing each from the other. And the stones thereof were magnificent and beautiful, magnificent as a whole, of glorious appearance and fair exterior, 3 towards the east, one founded on the other, and 3 towards the south, one upon the other, and deep and rough ravines, no one of which joined with any other. And the 7th mountain was in the midst of these, and it excelled them in height, resembling the seat of a throne. And fragrant trees encircled the throne, and amongst them was a tree such as I had never yet smelt, neither was any amongst them, nor were the others like it. It had a fragrance beyond all fragrance, and its leaves and blooms and wood wither not forever, and its fruit is beautiful, and its fruit resembles the dates of a palm. Then I said,
Tree of life. So we have to eat from that when we pass. It changes its fruit. It's got a smell and a taste like nothing else on this earth. It'll blow you away. Now, I don't know that because I haven't tasted it, but that's how he's explaining it.
How beautiful is this tree, and fragrant, and its leaves are fair, and its blooms are very delightful in appearance. Then answered Michael, one of the holy and honored angels who was with me, and was their leader. And he said unto me, Enoch, why dost thou ask me regarding the fragrance of the tree? And why dost thou wish to learn the truth? Then I answered him, saying, I wish to know about everything, but especially about this tree.
Okay, so you missed. He was talking about the tree of life that has fruit on it and a smell to it, and it tastes like nothing on this earth. When we pass and leave this body and go to heaven, which heaven's coming down, we will eat a tree of life. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that one.
And he answered, saying, This high mountain which thou hast seen, whose summit is like the throne of God, is his throne, where the holy great one, the Lord of glory, the eternal King, will sit, when he shall come down to visit the earth with goodness. And as for this fragrant tree, no mortal is permitted to touch it till the great judgment, when he shall take vengeance on all and bring everything to its consummation.
See the tree of life. It's not here on this earth. We can't touch it because we're mortals still. It's for the dead. Well, the alive, but the dead of this body. See, them who are alive in Christ are caught up. So you're not dead. When you leave this body, you're not dead. You have to go right to the judgment. Okay, so anyways, let's keep it going because my guy's going to come on soon.
Ever. And it shall then be given to the righteous and holy. Its fruit shall be for food to the elect. It shall be transplanted to the holy place, to the temple of the Lord, the eternal King. Then shall they rejoice with joy and be glad, and into the holy place shall they enter. and its fragrance shall be in their bones, and they shall live a long life on earth, such as thy fathers lived. And in their days shall no sorrow or plague or torment or calamity touch them. Then blessed I the God of glory, the eternal King, who hath prepared such things for the righteous, and hath created them.
Okay, so Jesus said, I go to the right hand of the Father to prepare a place for you. He's talking about Jesus, the King, way before Jesus was born. Way before this earth, just as this earth even got built, he was talking about Jesus. Jesus formed the earth, and Jesus is forming our home that we're going to, that's coming down to us. And this earth is going to go boom completely very soon. Okay? I give it 3.5, 4 years. I wouldn't want to live in that time. I hope I'm gone by then. I've been having heart pains, and I'm not telling anybody about my heart pains. Okay? So I asked God yesterday, You're either going to take me or strengthen my heart. And I haven't had them today, which is amazing.
And promised to give to them. And I went from thence to the middle of the earth, and I saw a blessed place in which there were trees with branches, abiding and blooming, of a dismembered tree. And there.
Okay, so you heard that. Into the middle of the earth. Okay? There is an earth on an earth folded in, and there's trees in there and everything he's talking about. And the Jonah and the whale, that's where he went. Okay?
I saw a holy mountain, and underneath the mountain to the east there was a stream, and it flowed towards the south. And I saw towards the east another mountain higher than this, and between them a deep and narrow ravine. In it also ran a stream underneath the mountain, and to the west thereof there was another mountain, lower than the former, and of small elevation, and a ravine deep and dry between them. And another deep and dry ravine was at the extremity.
Yeah, Satan talks in your head, and so does God. There's a song called There's a Devil on My Shoulder, speaking over and over. Yeah, that's right. No, I haven't seen your link yet because I'm doing the show and I can't jump out, and I'm eating, I'm doing laundry. But I will. I looked at yours this morning. I went into yours, right? And I was talking with you. Right? So, hey, man, I check out other people's stuff too. Because, man, you're here to teach me too, even you, Junior. You'll learn some things that I don't know. I don't know where and when, but
of the three mountains, and all the ravines were deep and narrow, being formed of hard rock, and trees were not planted upon them. And I marveled at the rocks, and I marveled at the ravine. Yea, I marveled very much. Then said I, For what object is this blessed land, which is entirely filled with trees, and this accursed valley between? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, This accursed valley is for those who are accursed forever. Here shall all the accursed be gathered together, who utter with their lips against the Lord unseemly words, and of his glory speak hard things. Here they shall be gathered together, and here shall be their place of judgment. In the last days there shall be upon them the spectacle of righteous judgment, in the presence of the righteous forever. Here shall the merciful bless the Lord of glory, the eternal King. In the days of judgment over the former, they shall bless him for the mercy in accordance with which he has assigned them their lot. Then I blessed the Lord of glory, and set forth his glory, and lauded him gloriously. And thence I went towards the east, into the midst of the mountain range of the desert, and I saw a wilderness, and it was solitary, full of trees and plants, and water gushed forth from above, rushing like a copious watercourse which flowed towards the northwest. It caused clouds and dew to ascend on every side. And thence I went to another place in the desert, and approached to the east of this mountain range. And there I saw aromatic trees exhaling the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh, and the trees also were similar to the almond tree. And beyond these I went afar to the east, and I saw another place, a valley full of water. And therein there was a tree, the color of fragrant trees, such as the mastic. And on the sides of those valleys I saw fragrant cinnamon. And beyond these I proceeded to the east. And I saw other mountains, and amongst them were groves of trees, and there flowed forth from them nectar, which is named Sarara and Galbanum. And beyond these mountains I saw another mountain, to the east of the ends of the earth, whereon were also trees, and all the trees were full of stacte, being like almond trees. But when one burnt it, it smelt sweeter than any fragrant odor. And after these fragrant odors, as I looked towards the north over the mountains, I saw 7 mountains full of choice nard and fragrant trees and cinnamon and pepper. And thence I went over the summits of all these mountains, far towards the east
It's okay, buddy.
and passed over the Erythraean Sea, and went far from it, and passed over the angel Zotiel. And I came to the garden of righteousness, and from afar off trees more numerous than these trees, and great. 2 trees there, very great, beautiful and glorious and magnificent, and the tree of knowledge, whose holy fruit they eat and know great wisdom. That tree is in height like the fir, and its leaves are like those of the carob tree, and its fruit is like the clusters of the vine, very beautiful. And the fragrance of the tree penetrates afar. Then I said, how beautiful is the tree, and how attractive to look at. Then Raphael, the holy angel who was with me, answered me and said to me, this is the tree of wisdom, of which thy father, old in years, and thy aged mother, who were before thee, have eaten. And they learnt wisdom, and their eyes were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven out of the garden.
Not the evil tree. They didn't eat, they slept with, to lie with. Man, I just devoured that donair, man. Devoured it. I was hungry. Okay, so Enoch, it's a long one. It's 3 hours long. So we won't do the whole show. I might have my guy coming on too soon, so we're going to do his. Now, see, even if you were to tell the Christians and explain how it is, the way Enoch explains it, they will call you crazy. Okay? So a lot of people don't believe in this stuff. But Enoch walked with God, so yeah, I know you do. You're a little guy. You sleep by yourself, yep. I wanted to get to the names.
And from thence I went to the ends of the earth, and saw there great beasts, and each differed from the other. And I saw birds.
Okay, so do you hear him? He said to the ends of the earth. If it was round, there would be no ends of the earth. But you can only go so far before the ice cap goes around. The ice cap goes around. They show it on some of their symbols. The world symbol, it has like a white flower that goes all the way around it. So how could anybody, like, I'm about the full truth. I don't fool around. In some pastures, they know of this stuff, and they shove it under the rug and the carpet, man. I don't. That to me is deceiving, okay? So they think they have no sin, but yet they're talking about the world and they'll travel to Mars. Get off of it. There's no traveling to Mars, okay? They will almost get there and God will send them down. And that's the Bible exactly explains that. In the end time, they will ascend, but God will send them right back down. You're not going to live on Mars. It's not inhabitable. Is the earth flat? No, it's incaved. It's not round and it's not flat. It looks like a flying saucer, but it's incaved a little bit. It's not incaved like woof, but it's incaved a little bit and it has a dome over top of us. Okay, so NASA means never a straight answer. They're the worst liars, and around their emblem is a snake tongue. The snake is the serpent, which is the devil himself, okay? So, and if people were even to bring up NASA and say, oh, NASA says this and NASA says that, get out, because they're lying. NASA means you don't follow what NASA says because they're of the devil, okay? So don't believe in the lie that they went to the moon. Do your own research, Junior, okay? They all green screened it, even when the ship was coming down and all the dirt on the moon wasn't even mixed up by the thrusters bringing them down to the moon. There's no thrust proof of there being any thrusters hitting the dust on the moon. Okay? So, even the best of them don't teach this stuff, man. Some of them do. One guy that I like to listen to, he's really good. And I just got to remember his name. But yeah, my phone's running out too.
Also differing in appearance and beauty and voice, the ones differing from the other. And to the east of those beasts I saw the ends of the earth, whereon the heavens rest, and the portals of the heaven opened. And I saw how the stars of heaven come forth. And I counted the portals out of which they proceeded, and wrote down all their outlets, of each individual star by itself, according to their number, and their names, and their courses, and their positions, and their times, and their months, as Uriel, the holy angel who was with me, showed me. He showed me all things, and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, and their laws, and their companies. And from thence I went towards the north, to the ends of the earth. And there I saw a great and glorious device at the ends of the whole earth. And here I saw 3 portals of heaven open in the heavens. Through each of them proceeded north winds. When they blow, there is cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. And out of one portal they blow for good. But when they...
Zen Garcia explains this too. Do you hear? And there's portholes that let the wind in. The sun goes through a porthole. It doesn't go around and around. I'm low on power, so I'm running out. Like, that's just ridiculous how anybody would even follow the untruths. The Bibles don't talk about this stuff because they took it out. What is the purple in the reflection of that picture? I have no idea, man. Of that picture I showed today?
Blow through the other 2 portals, it is with violence and affliction on the earth.
Or what he said.
They blow with violence. And from thence I went towards the west, to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 portals of the heaven, open such as I had seen in the east, the same number of portals, and the same number of outlets. And from thence I went to the south.
You see how he's saying to the ends of the earth? If the earth was round, it would have no ends on it. Okay? So, phony baloney to anybody, any pastor that teaches that. Even my guy that I love so much. You have the picture of what? I'm trying to think what you mean purple. Oh, of the picture that I put on? Well, there's lots of different kinds of radiations. So that picture that's turning red, Minecraft is bad. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
The ends of the earth. and saw there 3 open portals of the heaven, and thence there came dew, rain, and wind. And from thence I went to the east to the ends of the heaven, and saw there 3 eastern portals of heaven open, and 3 small portals above them. Through each of these small portals pass the stars of heaven, and run their course to the west on the path which is shown to them. And as often as I saw, I blessed always the Lord of glory. And I continued to bless the Lord of glory, who has wrought great and glorious wonders, to show the greatness of his work to the angels, and to spirits, and to men, that they might praise his work and all his creation, that they might see the work of his might, and praise the great work of his hands, and bless him forever. The second vision which he saw, the vision of wisdom, which Enoch, the son of Jared, the son of Mahalalel, the son of Canaan, the son of Enos, the son of Seth, the son of Adam saw. And this is the beginning of the words of wisdom, which I lifted up my voice.
Okay, so you
to
heard
speak
that, the
and
son
say
of,
to those which dwell
he's like the great-great-grandson of Seth. So he was born with a lot of purity in him, because there is some people that were born with purity, but eventually over the years, all the purity is gone. Not one person has, and maybe they do, I may be wrong on that, has the purity of God's children, right? Even in flesh. Okay. That's why these guys like Enoch didn't sin, because he was born straight out of God. We were put into a body of flesh that isn't of God, okay? But our soul is either of God or Satan. There's can be no other way, okay?
earth.
Yes, he does. He makes you wise, okay? The Spirit makes you wise. He gives you wisdom, okay? And he talks to you, and in your that silent voice in your head, which is yourself, when you come up with thoughts that are good, those are of him, those are of God, okay? And the Holy Spirit is God. He just uses it. It's Jesus' spirit. It's a part of Jesus' spirit, as a nurturing spirit, like a mother, okay?
And see ye that come after the words of the Holy One, which I will speak before the Lord of spirits. It were better
Lord
to
of
declare
spirits.
them only to the men of old time. But even from those that come after, we will not withhold the beginning of wisdom.
Okay, so the Holy Spirit is said as a she, but she's not really a she. She has the she naturistics. Like, she's very nurturing and loving and caring and mindful of you. And she doesn't bring any evil on you. It's not that does it. It's you that do that. But it does say that it's righteousness is she the one that they called righteousness. Okay, it's of a spirit. It's not, she doesn't have female parts. When you leave this earth, you don't have female parts either. You don't reproduce anymore, okay? And that's why they call her. It's just because of her nature, okay? And they replaced her in the Bible with Mother Nature. There's no such thing as Mother Nature, man. Everything is put here by God. Everything is run by God. God says, yes, you can do it. God says, no, you can't do it. And that's the way it's going to be, however God says. God will let things take over things because they're willing to do it anyway. So you got free will. So you're free willing, you're choosing to do the wrong mistake. God will turn his back because he's not a God of force, okay? He wants you to, he doesn't want to force you to come to him, because there's no bathrooms in heaven. No bathrooms. No, nothing like that. Okay?
Till the present day, such wisdom has never been given by the Lord of spirits, as I have received according to my insight, according to the good pleasure of the Lord of spirits, by whom the lot of eternal life has been given to me. Now 3 parables were imparted to me, And I lifted up my voice and recounted them to those that dwell on earth. The first parable. When the congregation of the righteous shall appear, and sinners shall be judged for their sins, and shall be driven from the face of the earth, and when the righteous one shall appear before the eyes of the righteous, whose elect works hang upon the Lord of spirits, and light shall appear to the righteous and the elect who dwell on the earth, where then will be the dwelling of the sinners, and where the resting place of those who have denied the Lord of spirits? It had been good for them if they had not been born.
You just hear that? You deny Jesus. Okay, it'd be better for you not to be born if you deny Jesus and don't believe in Jesus. It would be way better for you to not been born, because you are really going to face hell and damnation for not believing Jesus. That's the worst sin in the world. And I'll tell you right now, it's worse than murder and rape and murder of a child. It's the worst one because you don't believe in God. Okay, sometimes I take a bathroom break in your streams. Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead.
Of the righteous shall be revealed, and the sinners judged, and the godless driven from the presence of the righteous and elect. From that time, those that possess the earth shall no longer be powerful and exalted, and they shall not be able to behold the face of the holy. For the Lord of spirits has caused his light to appear on the face of the holy, righteous, and elect. Then shall the kings and the mighty perish, and be given into the hands of the righteous.
Okay, so that day cometh, it's really coming really soon. The devil's going to come for whatever evils you have. You're going to have to say, in the name of Jesus, I belong to Jesus. Okay, so you're going to have to be ready, and then the devil's going to take what belongs into you to him, and then you're going to become either dark or you're going to become light. Okay?
And thenceforward none shall seek for themselves mercy from the Lord of spirits, for their life is at an end. And it shall come to pass in those days that the elect and holy children will descend from the high heaven, and their seed will become one with the children of men. And in those days Enoch received books of zeal and wrath, and books of disquiet and expulsion. And mercy shall not be accorded to them, saith the Lord of spirits. And in those days a whirlwind carried me off from the earth.
Okay, so he's talking about when your seed becomes into man. There's a tree, and it's a tree of life in heaven, and nobody can eat the fruit thereof. Okay, the fruit that's on there is people's souls. And God takes a branch, smacks it on the ground, the soul comes out. He knows what soul to put in for what time in this world. And he puts you into this fallen angel body because we're mixed with evil. He just said, we mixed us with evil. Okay? So does that mean hell is worse than not existing? Yeah, because you're going to go through pain and torment forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, all eternity. Okay, so it'd be better that you were born than to go to hell, pretty much. Yep, I would agree with that. No, just like the apple isn't real fruit. They didn't take a bite out of the apple. Remember, I showed you that there's the bruised heel. This is a heel of Jesus, and it's bruised from crushing thy head of the serpent. And there's the seed getting injected into the fruit, into your mama's womb, or not your mama's, but Eve's womb. That seed is semen. Sorry, I have to say it. But the seed is the semen. And this turns into a demon to show you that. Okay, I showed you what the picture of the two apples together are, right? So yeah, we're gonna jump off this Enoch for now. And
down at the end of the heavens.
it's basically telling you for now.
The dwelling places of the holy, and the resting places.
So it's basically telling you the truth on the earth and the stars, and the earth isn't round, and the earth isn't totally flat, and it's telling you what happened in the same sort of way the Bible does. Okay, Enoch was written before the Bible. Okay, that's why they took Enoch out of the Bible, because all the books they took out of the Bible, if they were to put them together, it would have all the information, and anybody that would pick that book up would go to heaven. I guarantee it. So this is why I study other books. There's Book of Adam and Eve too that'll blow your mind. This book blows your mind. It's not even getting into the good stuff. Okay, it's just starting with the foundation of the earth and what happened with the fallen ones and who they mixed their seed with. They mixed their seed with the evil one, which is Cain, which did look like a serpent as well. Okay, so that's what they say. I don't know, but I've heard it. It's in one of the books that says that he is a seed of serpents and he would look like the seed of serpent. And I don't know which one, but Zen Garcia explains a lot of that stuff, okay? And I know a lot of it, but not as much as him. And I don't understand why. They just tell you to read Enoch. They don't teach it. But when they teach it, they still talk about space and all these planets and gibberish. And yet I've heard them say, well, the planets are named after angels and demons. You had a 17-second delay. Okay, well, I didn't on here. But all these books, if you were to put them all together, all the books that they didn't change the Bible, they took books out. Because if you had all the books and you were to go through them and mix them properly with the Bible, you would go to heaven because you would figure out the full truth, okay? So, and the Bible has full truth, it just has some of it taken out, okay? So, anyways, that's what that is. Let me see if my guy's on yet. I have to go do laundry here for a bit. I'm coming back on. I want to go back to the teachings of the Bible, like it says Matthew here. So I'll be jumping back on in a little bit, and if my guy doesn't come on, I'd like to go into Matthew again and teach about Matthew because it's just wholly powerful. Enoch's really powerful, and some people don't understand what is, and neither do even some of the Christians. If I was to teach them Enoch, they would say baloney. But Enoch walked with God and God took him. Okay, so if you walk with God, you're not lying because God took him. He wrote the book before God took him. Okay? So how could he be a liar? If he was a liar, he wouldn't be in heaven. All the stuff in Enoch is true, and people don't teach it. None of them. When they teach Enoch, they teach verses out of it. They don't teach the whole thing because it's quite long. So we have to do it in sections, all right? So I think I'm going to stay in Enoch today, okay? When I get back, if my guy isn't on, I have to fold laundry for a bit here. Enoch. Enoch. It's spelled like Enoch. Enoch. So you're close. So if you want to go and listen to it, and then I won't play it again. But it's you find it on YouTube, and you need to find the one that looks like this, okay? Because there's some Enochs
of the righteous. Here mine eyes saw their dwellings with his righteous angels, and their resting places with the holy. And they petitioned and interceded and prayed for the children of men. and righteousness floweth before them as water, and mercy like dew upon the earth.
And it talks a lot about mercy, okay? Mercy is one of God's attributes. If you wish someone dead, you have no mercy on them. You cannot wish any person dead, whether you hate them, whether they murdered your mother, or whatever evil sins that they did. You still can't wish upon them. You have to pray for them. You can't wish they were dead. I don't wish death to nobody. That's the worst. Okay? So, especially if they don't have Jesus. All right? Because they're going to a place forever that they're not going to get out of. And I can't even explain how brutal it's going to be. So, I love my people that I'm with, so I tell them, that's good. I had the same thing. Those are attributes of God. I used to hate hurting people until I became evil, and then I liked it. But after that, right now, I couldn't even get into a fight. I would have to turn my back and go the other way. Okay, so God bless you all. I'll be back on approximately when my guy gets on. God bless.